Hello kids, it's Dr. Neilio. Welcome to your Kids Talk again for church. I hope you've had a great week at school. And today I'm going to tell you 3 stories from the Bible about baskets. And I'm going to tell you why I'm telling you these 3 stories. First story comes from the Old Testament and it's about the story of Moses when he was a baby. And he lived in Egypt with his parents, and there's a guy called Pharaoh as like a king, and he kind of walked like an Egyptian. Ask your parents about that one. But the king, the Pharaoh, he didn't really like the Jewish people. He didn't like Israel, and he actually wanted to hurt all the babies. So his parents thought, what can we do? So they got a basket, maybe like this, maybe not. Got a basket like this, and they put Moses in the basket and then put the basket in the river, and they prayed to God, please keep him safe. May someone find him to look after him. And they did. Someone looked after Moses and raised him up. And that's not Moses. What is this? Anyway, that's not Moses, but Moses was in that basket. That's story number 1. Story number 2 is over here. This is told in the Gospels when Jesus, I think it's told in all 4 books, Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, but your parents can say if I'm right or wrong on that one. They'll look it up for you. So Jesus went up to the mountain and he was preaching to 5,000 people. Well, actually 5,000 blokes. And so obviously there's ladies there and kids, so maybe 10,000 people. That's a lot of people. That's, I don't know, maybe your parents can try and work that out for you. How many people's in your school or in your neighbourhood. Anyway, there's one boy who went up there and his mum packed him a lunch in a basket like this. Now, if you go to school, I don't know what you have for lunch, but for most of my life, I've had 2 sandwiches for my lunch. I've had peanut paste and honey on one sandwich and jam on the other. And I always eat peanut paste and honey first. Now I do a salad because I'm getting old, but I used to do peanut paste and honey. But his mum or dad, they gave him some loaves and some fish. Do you know how many loaves and fish? It was 5. Actually, I can't remember. I think it was 5 loaves and 2 fish. But your mum and dad can correct me. Anyway, this was in his little basket. And then Jesus was talking to all these people and it's getting late. And he said, well, I've got to feed them, but there's no restaurants, there's no cafes, there's no Uber Eats. And so Jesus said, we've got to feed them. And the disciples said, we can't do it. And this boy spoke up and said, I've got my lunch of the loaves and the bread. Do you want to use this? So Jesus said, yes. And then a miracle occurred because every time he took out the bread or the fish, there was more bread and fish in the basket. And so Jesus fed probably round about 10,000 people. That's amazing, 10,000 people, that's huge. All from one little basket from a boy's lunch. And at the end, they had 12 baskets left over. You can probably count 12 there. I think there's 12. 12 baskets of food left over, all from one boy's lunch. Saying, here, take this. And now we go over to our 3rd story. You may remember, I'm not sure if you do, but remember when I spoke about Paul and Saul? And Auntie Erin had these pictures that she drew of the caterpillar and the cocoon and the butterfly? It told the story of Paul. And this story is about Paul. So Paul became a follower of Jesus, even though originally he hated Jesus. And as he was preaching in the towns, some people thought, we're going to get Paul. We don't like what he's saying. And so his friends found out about this. So they put him in a basket and they lowered him down by ropes over the wall and he escaped. So he fit into a basket like this. Oh, there he is now. Actually, this is Josh. So you can imagine fitting in a basket like this, being lowered down a wall to safety. It's pretty amazing, by the way, he got in this. He will never escape. He's stuck here forever. I'm not sure if he can stand up, Amanda. But these 3 stories about Moses and the baskets here and the basket here with Josh, it tells us that God uses ordinary things to achieve what he wants to achieve. Like baskets are pretty simple. I couldn't make one. These all came from New Guinea or the Solomon Islands. But they're really simple things. And God can use simple things and simple people like you and me. I think sometimes we think you've got to be really, really special or really smart. I found in life that sometimes God can't use these people because they think they're pretty clever. They think they're too good. He needs people like you and me and Josh and Amanda and Andy, people who love Jesus and he'd just have a simple way of doing things and say, Jesus, please use me. So Jesus might use you at school to befriend someone who doesn't have a friend, to tell someone about Jesus, to be kind to your brother or sister or to your parents. But God wants to use you, the simple things in life. So thanks, kids. That's all from Dr. Nelio and from Josh. We won't wait for him to get out because it'll take too long. Okay, see you guys. See you next week. Bye.